Hello. Hello, friends. Welcome. I am bringing my friend Tanya in here to our call. And I am here. Okay. How do I get that away? Okay. Here we go. All right. There we go. Okay. Hi, Tanya. Hopefully that works out. Here she comes. We're so happy you're all here today to join us. Tanya and I are going to be talking today, and I think she's getting on. It's a beautiful sunshiny day here. I hope you all have the same. It's icy and snowy and beautiful. Yay! Hi, Tanya.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. I had my microphone plugged in, and that maybe didn't work.
All right, here we are. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in this kind of inquiry of, am I even ready to be the boss of my own life? And what would that possibly look like? So I wanted to share just really briefly how this idea for this class came into being. And I feel so honored to get to be here with Vanessa, one of my favorite humans. And, you know, Vanessa and I were talking just about kind of life in general and what it felt like not so long ago, when we kind of both at different stages in our lives had this realization that we had kind of entered the zombie apocalypse and that we've been living our lives kind of numb. And those of you that joined us for our little 2-minute video tech test yesterday, Vanessa ended our call yesterday with this invitation about what is it that you care about most in this whole world, and what makes your heart sing, you know. And when I was talking with Vanessa, her story woke something up so tender in my heart, and something that to me feels so crucial in the world right now, in a time where I think a lot of us are so scared that we've gone numb. I think some of us have been in jobs that that haven't fed our souls for long enough that we've gone numb. Some get so deeply immersed in parenting, there can be that kind of, who was I before my children and where am I going now? So many different ways that maybe you've gotten a little disconnected. And what we hope is that our time together this afternoon will offer just a little insight into a whole nother opportunity, a whole nother way of being. And so without further ado, I want to, many of you, I know we're presenting this here on Vanessa's page, so many of you already know, love, and adore this woman, but I'm expecting this class to go far and wide. So for those of you that are just getting to meet Vanessa, this is an extraordinary friend of mine, who not only is a super committed mom that goes above and beyond with her gorgeous daughter, Aurora, who's 10, but also is the behind the scenes guru, working side by side with her husband in their photography business. She's also very active in community, as well as all of the work that she does with Young Living Essential Oils. So I'm gonna stop talking and start asking you questions. Vanessa, thanks for being here. So in this context of this conversation about what might it be like to live a life connected a little more to purpose, a little more to fire, I know that how you feel now is not how you were feeling a little while ago. So I'm wondering if you could just give a little context to the call and let us know, where were you at before the opportunity to build a business and a lifestyle with Young Living came through your doors?
So, you know, as a new mother, you get very wrapped up into all things with your child, and you're consumed and you pour into this new little amazing life. And I was always so grateful for my child and my husband and our home, and also very lost in doing all the things and going, and sleep deprived, which every new parent is, and exhausted. And I was fine, right? So when people ask how you're doing, I was fine. I was content. I would have told you I was happy and grateful for everything that I had, but fine isn't enough. and I felt numb a lot of the time. And I remember like wandering through the grocery store kind of discombobulated, and even doing recipes and cooking, and I'd have to read it over and over and over again, and um, just kind of asleep. And I would talk to my mommy friends about it, and we'd get in groups and we'd talk, and it was like, is this what life is about? Is it this kind of going, lost in all the things, and fine, and yes, happy, but is that enough? And so many people that I knew and I talked to were kind of depressed and anxious, and there wasn't this like joyfulness that when Aurora, even when she was tiny, she would laugh and she would crack up and she would have this laugh that was so contagious. It was like almost like she was crying, because she would laugh and she would laugh and she would laugh, and I would see this, and it was like, is that something we lose as adults? When you become an adult, do you lose that capability for pure joy and like this light that this child brought into my life? And even Jeff, who my husband, who is he's got this quality of him, and they would crack up at the table, and sometimes I would feel like I was kind of watching from the outside. You know, I couldn't get into this pure joy. So like happy and fine, it's not the same. And I remember I was often the watcher. Like I would watch as Jeff and Aurora did these fun, crazy things, and they went sledding. And one weekend Jeff was away working, and so Aurora said, "We have to go sledding. You have to come with me." And so of course I did, and we went sledding down our driveway, which is this crazy long driveway. And I just remember this feeling washing over me. It was scary and it was exhilarating. But when I got down to the bottom of the driveway, we were just like both laughing and cracking up to this degree of just joy and exuberance that I hadn't felt in a long time. And I kind of realized like I was going through life kind of zombie, lost, numb. Yes, happy, grateful, but not like alive.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, those of you watching, can you relate to that feeling at all? I feel like that was one of my biggest wake-up calls as a gold leader with Young Living, my first Young Living convention, when Gary and Mary were on stage and talking about their vision and their dreams and their passion. And my biggest wake-up call was like, not only did I not have a dream, but I hadn't noticed that I had stopped dreaming. And I think that that can be one of the scariest parts, is the depth of numbness, right? We can't feel when we can't feel. And that story of sledding is so powerful. So what happened, Vanessa? What has shifted for you in the last couple of years, and what are you noticing?
So I had this like total internal inspection of like, is this childhood joy and happiness something adults can have? And I would look around me and saw so little of it in the adults. And then I would see like this glimpse of this light. And the first time was when I had the Kundalini yoga teacher, and Gisela, and I took the class, and there was this glow to her, and I couldn't figure out what it was or what she had, but there was something really special, alive and burning within her. And I talked to people and I said, what is that about? And my one friend said, well, that's just, when you become a parent, you have all this responsibility, and you're married, and she's single and she's free, but it wasn't that. And then Tanya saw this glow in you, and it was just like, these people, there are still adult humans with this glow. And I wanted that. I wanted to be alive. And I realized so much of everything that I did every day was for other people, and pouring into Aurora and pouring into Jeff and the family business and the house. It was like I had nothing left for myself. And I wasn't feeding myself. And yes, I would escape to yoga sometimes with my good friend Allie, who would get me out of the house. But it wasn't like there was nothing feeding me. There was nothing I was doing for myself. And I used to do massage, and I loved that work, healing and helping people, and that was great. But like it wasn't the same. And Allie, I think it was my friend Allie, said to me, "What are you doing for yourself that's feeding you?" And I realized that I wasn't, and I didn't have anything that was just for me. And I always wanted to be a mother growing up like that. I had this huge, ever since I was tiny, just like this knowing that that was part of what I needed to be. And I love being a mother. And, you know, Aurora fills me up, but um, it's not the same as having this passion that you're doing for yourself. And at what, 42, like I never knew I was missing that. And so when I started, and I've loved Young Living for years, they've been such a crucial part of my life and the support for our family. But when I started sharing this on a bigger level, and helping, reaching into people's lives, and sharing with what, you know, everybody needs support, and there's so many people who are tired and depressed and anxious and need sleep support. And when you realize what these products can do, how this business can help people, and you start just listening to people, it's an art that's lost. Hearing people and listening and reaching into their hearts, it just started feeding me so much. And I would wake up excited to like do everything for the business and share and get out there. And I hadn't had something work related that was passionate that I could even remember. I can't remember having that ever, where you wake up excited to do your work in the world and share, and get back, and it made everything else in my life so much fuller. And then, you know, you're doing things for a purpose and for a reason, and everything is lifted and just better.
Yes. And I'm going to come back to that in just a moment, but I want to just bring you one step further. When you think about how you felt sitting at that dinner table and watching your husband and your daughter have this laughter and this joy that felt out of reach, and that kind of zombie feeling that we were talking about earlier, when you wake up now in the morning knowing that you are the owner of your own business, that your work in the world is bringing health and wellness education to humanity, and that already the lives that you touched are changing, right? How do you feel about your life? What's the contrast in your general energy and your sense of being alive? Like, what's different? How do you feel now about your future and your future for Aurora? What is it? I love who you are as a mother and how much that carries through what you do. And what does it feel like to be a CEO in the same house with your husband, who's the CEO of his business, and your daughter getting to watch both of you shine in your own ways?
So everything is different. Everything is different. It's no longer fine. It's no longer like, how are you? I'm fine. I'm well. I'm happy. Um, like a fire. It's like everybody, I think, has these embers that are burning, and sometimes they get really dim. And this is like fire in my heart. I mean, it's like being alive, being awake. It's almost like the veil's lifted, seeing what's real, what's important, like why we're here. I've always believed we all are here for a really big purpose, and that we have this highest kind of path that we can work towards. And a lot of us get stuck right here. And I feel like I'm working towards it, and the joy is crazy. It's everything. It's different. And I think part of it is being a mother, and watching my child and wanting all these things. As a parent, you know, you tell them they can do anything and they can be anyone, and you know, there's no limitations as you look through their eyes to their life. But I can't figure out when I stopped seeing for myself that those were all true, that I could do anything. And to show that to Aurora, like that you have no limits, and not just speak it to her, but show her, like, I am dreaming about this business, and I am creating this business, and I am doing this, and you can do this. So she's been such an incredible mirror and reflection to me. Like, how dare I say to her, you go do anything you want and be so joyful and be this, and then not live it and seek it for myself. Did I answer?
Yes, and I have goosebumps everywhere. Thank you. And you know, I want to just pause for a moment To give a little context, I know that some of you watching are very familiar about what it means to start a business with Young Living, and for others, it might be a pretty abstract concept. And so, I think that one of the things that can be really challenging about finding our way in our adult lives, right, is our perception of the options that we have, right? So I think for most of us, like myself, who grew up going to public school and got all my degrees and did everything that I was told to do, I was really taught how to become an employee and how to work for other people. And that didn't feel good in my spirit. So I, at 27 years old, I jumped into trying to become an entrepreneur. And my first round at entrepreneuring, I'm going to tell you, was really hard. I was alone all the time. I had no idea what I was doing. And I ended up working harder for less money than I had as an employee, which I think would send most of us back to jobs that we didn't like in the first place, or that was in our field and was kind of close, but enough to disconnect from that energy that moves through us when we're doing something. I mean, you can see the vibration in Vanessa's presence, right? When you tap something that you care about, it has a life force of its own. And I think that's one of the most exciting things that we can seek to find in our lives and in our careers, those of us that choose to be entrepreneurs. So just to give a little context, when Vanessa says, since I started doing my business with Young Living, what she's talking about there is, Young Living, for those of you that don't already know, it's a huge online health food store. It's extraordinary. YoungLiving.com. Please check it out. Not only do they have the highest end quality products in the world infused with the purest essential oils, Young Living is responsible for bringing essential oils back to the Western world. Essential oils were pretty much all but lost in history. They're incredible therapeutic supports in the way that they can really support the body on every level. And this extraordinary human, Gary Young, who reminded me and taught me how to dream again, he dedicated his life to bringing back that ancient history and those ancient practices. So Young Living is an extraordinary store that I highly encourage you to check out, not just for their products, but for their worldwide philanthropy, the way that their organic and sustainably farmed farms are regreening and supporting the earth. It's just, I could go on forever about Young Living, but what it means to grow a business with Young Living is to partner with that extraordinary company. And in the business, our work is doing outreach and education. It's helping people to know that the company exists, that there are incredible solutions out there to provide all kinds of support for your emotional body, for your physical body, for your dreaming space, for your dreamscape. And then to build community around having conversations about how, feeling better and living this life. And one of the things that Vanessa does so extraordinarily is carrying the message of the company about, why not live bigger? Why not live bolder? Why not be the person that I want my daughter to become? Why not role model that for myself? Right. And so it's a partnership. And here's the really sweet part, is that you get all the benefits of being a CEO, right? You get to choose how quickly you grow your business. You get to work your hours that you choose to work. A lot of this work can be done from a cell phone at home. We have a lot of really actively building mamas and papas who are home with their little ones and able to do it during those 15-minute nap breaks, or, the in between diaper changes, or what have you. Really, really empowering opportunity. But the coolest part is that, yeah, it's up to you to build your business, but the way that we grow a business is through growing community. It's through loving on each other. It's through spending time together. It's through discovering together, hey, I tried this. It worked really well. Did you try that? Right. And so one of the side effects, I say, of this business is, when I started, I was so isolated in my life. And, 5 years in, my community has quadrupled in the most astounding way. It's been such a blessing. And so to have this opportunity where, at my first go as an entrepreneur, it was so scary and so hard and so isolating to be alone, and to recognize that in this profession, I can reap a lot of those same benefits, but I don't have to do it alone. We're a team. We're called Rise Together. We've got a training system. We have ways to help you get started, and it can be a lot of fun. But so there's kind of a quick at a glance, what does it mean to build a business? But I think that can still be kind of abstract. Vanessa, we all have similar practices and different practices. We all have different lives. I'm not a mama, so I have a lot more time freedom probably than all of you who are parents. I'm a yoga teacher. Maybe you're a doctor or a nurse or a school teacher. Like, we get to do it in our way. Vanessa, as a mom and as an artist and as a photographer and as a lover of the outdoors, and can you just give us a sense of, like, what does it mean when you're building your business? What's a day in the life, or a week in the life, or a month in the life of you doing this hustle on the side? Well, I know you have so much else going on in your life. How are you doing it so successfully? What do you do?
So there's a lot of answers to that. And it's fitting it in around your schedule, around your day. really becoming what we say, a product of the product, really using the products and loving them and finding out what it is that is so, fulfilling for you, for this or for that, the sleep support, and then sharing it. You share it in a play date, you share it online, you share it. We have wonderful little gatherings where we invite in friends and community members, and they can bring their friends and just teach the wellness lifestyle of this company, and help people to feel better and stronger. And it's reaching into people's heart. It's a relationship business. You write to people, oh, I heard that you were talking about your family that's going through, everybody's feeling immune compromised, so here's some support that you could do. And the people that you meet at the store, that you hear people have struggles and needs. And with this company, I can't think of another company that there's so many needs that we meet, and you just meet these people day to day. If you watch a movie that you loved, you're going to tell people about it. When you have a product that's changing your life, literally, like the support that I have gotten from these products, there's nothing like it. And since, not everybody knows, but Aurora was diagnosed with a respiratory disease when she was at birth, and like we are constantly looking for things to support her immune system and her respiratory system. And I found so much in these products, and the journey of motherhood, the emotional help and support that these products have given me. So of course I want to share that. Like, how can I not share that with everybody that's needing it? So back to the nuts and bolts, like you reach out to people, you email, you call, you have gatherings, you have tea with your friends. Like, how amazing is that? Like, permission to sit with your friends that are in the business and those that aren't. And you create the community that's so go, go, go world. And you just reach into people's hearts and their lives. And you meet new friends, you go to new events, and it's just about really reaching into people's lives. I think I lost you, Tanya. I might have to reinvite. And you fit it in around all the other things. You call a few people during, whatever, while Aurora's at school now or nap time. And it's really a relationship business about feeding people and giving them the tools that they need to live a healthier life, because we're all like struggling, whether it's health or emotions or sleep or any of immune support. All these things people need, and it's really like not okay to not share it with people because it's so important. Let's see if I can get Tanya back in. How do I add you? Yes, come back. I hope that answers the question. It's just fitting in little bits and pieces of reaching out to people and checking in with them, and calling them and caring for people. Did that answer the question?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to wrap in just a moment here. Before I close us out, I wanted to just, and I had a technological glitch. I got dropped and back on. So if you've already answered that, I missed a couple minutes. If I've already answered this, let me know. But do you have a final message or invitation to just invite people in that sense of, am I willing to, again, that when I'm numb, I can't feel that I'm numb? Is there a question or invitation to help people reconnect to the heart space and get on that path back towards joy and back towards purpose?
So I think that question that we posed in our little preview, and I think that's the question. Like, write it down, take 2 minutes. What are the most important things to you? Is it family? Is it, giving back? Is it time freedom where you can go and drop everything and go spend time with your family? I mean, Jeff's business is incredible, but he is gone so many of the weekends. Are you missing this or that with your kids? What are the things that you are so passionate about? Or when you were a kid, or 10 years ago, if somebody, have we even forgotten like what's important to us? But if somebody were to say, what could you be when you grow up? Or what would you want your life to look like? If really you had a clean slate and you could create that, what are the most important things to you? And the question is, are you doing things every day that's feeding that, that's adding to those things, that's improving your life in a way that those things are what the focus is, and what you know, what makes your heart sing, and are you helping add to that?
I love that. I love that so much. So please take those notes, write that down. And my invitation as a yoga teacher is to notice what comes up emotionally as you ask yourself those questions. Is there judgment? Is there sadness? Is there grief? Is there surprise? And that there's nothing wrong. It's but there is, with awareness, we can wake up and we can start to change. And the other piece that I want to add on to that invitation is, I can remember since I was a really little kid that I was fed by being around people that I love. My sister would have called me a social butterfly as a kiddo. And it's interesting because when I became a grown up after going, starting my career, and I started out as a school teacher and I got into nonprofit work, and I was always broke and I was always working all the time. And really early, like in my mid 20s, I can see now looking back how I started to harden and shut down and get smaller and smaller and smaller as my perception of reality grew smaller. Like, this is as good as it gets. Well, somebody like me, this is probably all that's going to happen. And so I needed to work more to make more money, and work more to make more money. And so one of the things that I trimmed early, especially when I was in my grad school years and so busy, was friends and family. Who has time for that? I got to work, right? Isn't going to work always the excuse as to why you can't do other things? And so that question, like, what makes my heart sing? Friendship. And what does this business require? It taught me how to learn how to be a friend again. It taught me how to reach into people's lives because I care. And what blew me away was that by reaching into other people because I cared about them and I wanted them to find solutions for their lives, the solutions that were serving me, I have been so blessed by the love back I have returned. Right. And so whatever comes up in you, if you're like, oh, going out in my boat is what makes my heart sing, and you try to tell, oh, well, that's not a good enough thing. And no, it should be something like changing the. Notice what comes up and write it down. I probably laughed at myself 6 years ago when the answer was to have friends. And now I look at how loving on people is probably the most important work that any of us could do in the world. So Vanessa, thank you for shining your big, beautiful heart. Thank you for all that you bring to the world with your work in this business. If you know Vanessa and you're interested in learning more about the business opportunity, please message her now, reach out to her. If you've received this video texted from somebody else, another person building this business, please reach out to them and ask them, I want to learn more. In this short little time, I know it's only just kind of a taste of what this really has to offer. So your next step would probably be to learn more, right? So you don't have to be an all-in. Heck yeah, you can be a, I kind of want to get more information. So reach out to me, reach out to Vanessa, reach out to the person who shared you this video, and know that if this has even the slightest curiosity waking up inside your body, if there's a yes moving through your heart, move toward it and know that you will be. This is a take my hand and come along. We have a strong team with a lot of training support to help you become your best self, to help you create a residual income that can become a passive residual income over time, to create capital, to fund your dreams, to put the money in your bank account that you might need to maybe just live with more ease, or maybe it's so that you can pour more generosity, more time, more money into organizations or commitments or changes that you want to see in this world. We are in a time where we need more hope. People need more hope. We need to come back to this knowing that there is a way out, that there is a way to find joy even in the dark times. And I'm so blessed to have friends like Vanessa who embody joy and who embody hope, and who in every day, even when things are hard, take one step further forward to bring this dream through to fruition. So thank you all for your time. Please share this video with somebody that you know is part of the zombie apocalypse and needs to wake up with us. And big, big love. Blessings on the day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.